Okay, let's do it.
Welcome to the Kaiju Podcast. I'm Ralph.
I'm Jorge.
And today we're talking about Wrath of Daimajin.
Daimajin Strikes Again, Daimajin Counterattack, 1966.
Daimajin Part 3. The third Daimajin movie. We could say we've been dreading it, I guess. What's the whole thing? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
I don't know what 3 times counts as. I still... I mean, there are podcasts that I listen to that talk about kaiju movies and monster movies and stuff like that, and some of them still love Daimajin, and I'm like going, are you seeing the same thing I'm seeing? I'm like, how long ago did you see it? I mean,
right.
What they talk about it, they're like, he's cool because he's big, and it says, yeah, but that's like the last 10 minutes of the movie. The rest is stuff you have to put up with.
Yeah.
I mean, this one kind of fools you at the opening. You seeing like, oh, Daimajin's foot, Daimajin's fist. You're like, oh, we're going to get some Daimajin early in this one amid all that destruction.
Right.
Well, that's just like an intro.
Here's the thing. I was already expecting Daimajin to just show up in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So, surprisingly, he shows up in the last 20 minutes, but I very much enjoyed the storyline with the kids.
You did?
I found it entertaining.
Okay.
And I don't even think it's in a good way. It was almost exactly Goonies. With the guys chasing him, like the Sideburn gang, like chasing those guys like the Fratellis.
Yeah.
Especially when they're going across the waterfall.
Right.
But I think it was a mix between. It was fine because I understood what they were doing. It wasn't just 2 different warring clans that were indistinguishable from each other. That with Daimajin in the background. These kids were trying to get from point A to point B, which I totally could understand and follow.
It was a quest.
Their acting, one of the kids' acting was really funny and goofy. One of the kids' acting was really bad, and the other 2 were okay. But on top of that, they had really funny, bizarre dubbing, which sounded like it was old ladies doing their voices. And all of that combined entertained me because I'm like, what the hell is happening in this movie? I'm not saying it's good.
Yeah.
I'm saying of all 3 Daimajin movies, I was the most entertained during this one.
The actors that did the dubbing, they were all adults.
Right.
But there was like, it'd be someone speaking to someone with no accent at all, and someone else speaking in the same conversation with doing like a thick Japanese accent, which I don't even necessarily know if that's the normal accent that actor had that was doing the dubbing on it,
right.
Or it was just they were doing it because they were playing Japanese people.
I think from what I think I noticed is that you would have the same actor talking to himself as different characters. And
you think
they would change the accent
to be different people. So it's like someone telling a story to a kid.
Right. And I'm pretty sure
Interesting.
I'm pretty sure the actor of the old lady that they come across in the wood, the one that tells them about the hawk.
Right.
I'm pretty sure she's the same voice as what I was calling the middle child. Not the tall one, not the short one.
There are 4 children.
Yes.
So I'm a little lost there.
The main kid, not the tallest kid with the headband, and but the second tallest kid.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. I don't remember the names. I should have jotted them down.
Okay, that kid I believe is Tsuruchiki. He's the main kid.
Right.
Who doesn't talk much in this at all, really.
Yeah.
Like, the other ones talk a lot more than he does.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one that's they kind of make him the fat one.
Yeah.
Is Daisuku. And
I think he's the one I'm thinking sounds like the old lady.
Quinta is the one was the littlest when there were only 3.
We just said
before.
Yes.
What?
He just kept saying yes. He's like, you promised not to slow us down. You promised, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one they meets his fate later on. And then there's Sugi. And Sugi, now, the kid playing Sugi, oh my gosh. What does this person even know they're in a movie?
Was that the kid where you can tell the director's off camera and says, okay, now rub your eyes like you're crying?
It's like if you ever watched the old Little Rascals.
Right, yeah.
There are some that were actual
personalities,
kid actors.
Yeah.
And then there were some that were just young kids and they just had to do something. They're like, oh, okay, just splash the water. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kid, are you talking about the kid that was holding the kid that was drowning?
That's the what?
The one kid that was drowning, and he's like, just let me go. Are you talking about the kid that was holding him?
Oh yeah. That's the kid that was holding him. Yeah. He's the kid that
I'm trying to
he had the arrow. He was shooting the arrow at the samurais.
Yeah. That was great. I would see here listen. I'm not going to rush out and watch Wrath of Daimajin anytime soon. But if someone says, hey, I have to watch one of these Daimajin movies, I'd say watch this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you get 20 minutes of Daimajin. Maybe the effects in the first one are better, but it was only 10 minutes.
Yeah. I'd still go the first one.
Yeah.
For the Daimajin itself, I would say watch most of this and fast forward, and then when you see him lift his hand up and the face change on the head, just push play.
You don't want to see the little kids falling off of the mountainside, or the kid drowning, or the kid dying of frost.
I'm expecting that kid to get taken down by the river.
Yeah.
And no one referred to him later on in the movie at all.
No.
Okay, first of all, it was there. And listen, we knew it wasn't going to be great because they were going to a place that was called Hell's Valley, which is basically the Sulphur Mine, which works. I mean, that's supposed to be the smell of,
Yeah. But I like that the Daimajin statue is kind of the guardian of that area.
Yeah.
It was kind of I liked how the kids kind of respected Daimajin and wished that they could pass and let them know why they were passing. And the hawk seemed cool with them, so they let them through. But
the hawk was interesting. It was interesting because the hawk was introduced as a threatening thing, but you realize that he was on the side of good.
Were you assuming it was going to be a giant hawk? When as soon as she mentioned the hawk with the large talons, I thought it was going to be like a kaiju, like a big.
Oh, I didn't think it was going to be a kaiju. I didn't think it was going to be something.
Yeah, I was hoping it was going to be something.
I mean, I assume it would be just like a real hawk, but maybe made to look bigger than it is.
Yeah. This is Daimajin Mountain, and I kept thinking they were saying Magic Mountain. Is that the first couple times in my notes I'd put down Magic Mountain, but it was Daimajin because I forget that the character's name is Daimajin, not Daimajin.
Right.
But we're gonna call him Daimajin anyway.
Big Majin. There's a part when they're running away, and the littlest one is Sugi. They're running away, and Sugi just sits down.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's supposed to be he tripped or did something because he had to come back and pick him up, but he just sat.
Yeah, that kid was, I think, struggling. as far as being an actor, and didn't understand direction. And they shot 3 of these movies in 1 year, so they didn't
I
have
think
time to.
the kid was fine. I think the director was struggling trying to get the kid to act.
Right. I did like when they were climbing the cliff, and he was using the kid's head to get higher up on the cliff.
Yes.
But it was nuts when they fell. I'm like, oh my gosh, did all these kids just die seriously right now? And I guess they didn't.
Yeah, I'm like, the little one is like the Little Rascals. Does the littlest one even know he's in a movie?
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like they were relying so much on his character of doing doing save the day kind of things,
Right.
in this sequence of the journey to save the rest of the village, that it just didn't work.
No. But I found it entertaining. Like, it's not good, but it was entertaining to me. So you watched this on Blu-ray?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I kind of figured it out after the fact, but when they first go and sleep in that tree,
Yeah.
I thought it was an effect shot. Did it look like an effect shot? Like, it looked
The
like
tree itself?
everything, like the whole, like, it looked like they were superimposed over a miniature
Oh,
forest, but it might have just been a set.
no, I think it was a set. It looked like a studio set.
Okay, because when I watched it, I had like kind of a weird old,
A little fuzzy.
yeah. So it was a little, yeah. So cool.
Mm. There's a part where in the dub, when like all the prisoners get whipped, and they just have someone say, "Oh, damn it."
Yeah.
Random.
There was a pair of guys that were kind of bumbling samurai at the beginning. I like those characters, but they didn't really do much.
It's kind of cool is how the one guy with his 2 samurai henchmen, the samurai had that kind of face helmety thing that they wore.
Yeah.
Very kind of old school looking.
That's what I call the sideburn gang, because the one guy had the sideburns that went into a mustache,
Right.
and then I thought the other guys also had crazy sideburns, but then realized it was that armor just
It's
that
like a
goes
face
around
plate.
their cheeks.
Yeah.
But the bottoms kind of flared out like sunburn, like sideburns.
Yeah.
And the Fratellis or whatever. Yeah, those guys. They were fun.
It's interesting. There's like cheek protectors. It's like not really a helmet. It's like,
I guess it's a soft part of your face, so that's really what you would. I mean, you would want something to cover your eyes, but I guess you don't. An arrow can penetrate through there.
Can't obstruct your view.
Yeah.
So the hawk attacks the samurai. The samurai shoot the hawk. The hawk bleeds, and Daimajin bleeds.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like E.T.
And then
Or
Tsurushiki.
the Corsican brothers.
And Tsurushiki, he prays and then jumps off the cliff
That was nuts.
and goes right through the snow.
Yeah. Yeah. That was crazy. That kid prays to Daimajin to spare his friend's life.
Offers himself up, yeah.
And then it cuts to that.
That's when the kids all fall asleep. Like the kids are just gonna freeze to death because like they're suddenly they're all so super tired.
Right. And the thing is, we saw the kids already survive falling down a rock face. So I'm like, oh, maybe he'll survive. But then they cut to the wide shot of where he's jumping from. I'm like, oh, he's not surviving that.
Yeah.
There right before that. Okay, so there's 2 things that were reminding me or were similar to the last movie we did, Rego. So this is the second movie in a row where the character says, "Don't sleep, don't go to sleep while you're old, or you'll die." That happened with one of the sailors in the last movie. Kept telling him, "Don't go to sleep, don't go to sleep," and he dies. And the kid says that to to the kid in here. Also, we get another a character who has blood on his face and it's streaming down. Almost look like the Kabuki from the end of the last movie. The bad guy. It almost had the exact same shape. So I'm wondering if that's like a thing in Japan.
That face blood looks like...
Yeah. Like it's a... I don't know. Like a cultural thing or something. But I thought it was weird that both of those things happened like back to back in this movie, but then also in like the previous movie. Like there's no white goo in each of these two movies. Nope. We get that a lot. That seems like it's less of a coincidence. But the fact that they had they said don't go to sleep or you'll die. The hawk dies. That was a bummer. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of glad that hawk came back, by the way. I know it's all movie magic, but
right.
It's still,
well, it's like they definitely had like a taxidermied hawk.
Yeah.
To work with.
Hopefully. I don't know what the standards and practices are in Japan.
That maybe it wasn't taxidermied. It's like, all right, we're done with the hawk flying done stuff. Shooting
and that's a wrap for the hawk.
Oh man. Wait, we're gonna skip the dead scenes. We'll get back to him coming back to life stuff first. Now we're ready to shoot the dead scenes.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awful.
I know.
And then Daimajin
with 22 minutes left.
Finally.
But I mean, it's an hour. It's an hour and 27-minute movie. So we have and we get a little bit of Daimajin at the beginning. So we really have about just an hour before we see Daimajin.
We got a lot of Daimajin holding dolls.
Oh, it's the best part.
He picks the kid up, and then he also has the other guy in his that he smashes into the wall.
Yeah, we also get not only the giant prop hand, which looks like it has been deteriorating over the course of these three shoots.
Yeah.
But we get a giant foot. I don't remember seeing a giant foot in the other movies. We may have.
I know he's definitely stepped on people.
Yeah, but has it been a giant foot? I like that it was a giant foot though, and that guy kind of gets pushed into the snow.
Yeah.
A lot of good hand stuff. I don't know if Daimajin's had a sword in the previous movies.
Yeah, you know what? I was as soon as he came to life, and I was like, I spotted that sword, and I was like, has he always had one? And I was like, is he gonna pull that sword out? Because
I was like,
you can't just wear a sword and not pull it out.
Yeah, because my thought process was, oh, I hope he finally uses that sword. And I'm like, wait a second.
Has he ever had the sword?
If he had the sword in the last two movies, I would have thought the same thing. But why is this like the first time I'm thinking about this sword?
Yeah, I was sitting there going like, is the sword like extra shiny? Did they do something so I would spot it?
I think it's new. Because in the first one, he has the head spike, and he pulls that out and stabs the guy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that first one's pretty good, like the last 10 minutes.
The first one.
Like the effects stuff.
Yeah, there's just like just move, like the guy going through the building, just like...
Here's the thing. The character design for Daimajin is awesome. I love it. I like that he has the stone face, and he could change it to the green face. I think he looks cool. I think all the model work, like the scale that they made him, where he's just like the size of like a 3-story building instead of a size of a skyscraper. I think that's really cool, and it makes the model work really cool too, because he like is like right in those models. I think a lot of the sort of blue screen integration is really nice. I don't know how it looks on the Blu-ray, but like there was a shot of him sort of rear projected in the background, and you see him lift his hand up and bring it down and then rip through like a foreground live action roof that real guys are sitting on, and it looks so cool. Like it's really well done, and it's almost like instead of making these 3 movies in 1 year, they should have just taken the 3 effects budgets and made one really badass movie.
Wow. Yeah, and he doesn't have to like resort to what other human-faced kaiju. He doesn't have to like suck a missile up his butt.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. It's I like that it's just a plain mask, but the human eyes make it creepy.
Yeah.
Like seeing the human eyes, you're like, it kind of like gives away the scale of the
And I think
suit,
it's interesting.
but
Yeah, and it's fascinating how he's got his when he's a stone statue face, and then he he basically reveals the blue face. That's the that's the Daimajin of action face.
yeah, and he looks angry. Like the two faces, he looks kind of
one's just like stoic and like
yes.
no nothing, and then
yeah.
he's throwing logs at all the people.
That was great because they dropped the logs down on him like
like the Ewoks.
Yeah, exactly.
They thought they could get him.
Yeah, and he just started kicking him. He just started kicking him out of the way. I'm really impressed by the miniature work. Like I thought the miniature logs they matched up with the big logs pretty well. I mean, they're just logs. I don't know how hard that is to make in miniature, but I like that they have there's this one shot where he's walking into the town. Well, first of all, we get he busts down another wall. I think we've seen him knock down a brick wall, a rock wall, and then this new kind of bouldery rock wall. But I like that he goes to the front of the town, punches in the door, and then takes out sort of the door jamb, the upper kind of overhang roof of the door. But one of the shots I really liked was he takes out a house, like this giant house. It's a shot from like the alley. He takes out this house, and as he's walking up the alley, the house is still crumbling behind him. Like stuff like that's really cool. Like the destruction and the dust and stuff. And like I said, I don't know how good it looks on the Blu-ray, but my version it looked pretty cool. But I'm impressed. I was a big fan of the kaiju that aren't super gigantic, to where the models are like they have to construct like big giant models.
I'm just gonna flipping through some Daimajin pictures, and he seems to always have that sword on him.
Okay, is the sword just on his side? Because this one was kind of in the front and off.
Well,
does it hang down along his outer thigh, or does it go along his belt like in this one? Has he used his sword?
I don't ever remember him pulling the sword out.
Before this movie, there's only been 25 minutes of footage of him, so I think we'd remember the sword. I don't know if he's used it.
I don't know.
I liked him snow covered.
Yeah,
I thought that was a cool, interesting look. Like it gave him a little bit of a different look. It wasn't just like the same suit. There's a little bit of a wrinkle to it. Oh, the guys who are on the tower with the sulfur, with sort of the sulfur tubs or sulfur bins, that was cool. The Daimajin knocked that down, and then it started catching on fire, and then the model came tumbling down. All of the effect stuff.
Yeah, there's a cool part in the opening part where we saw pieces of Daimajin where basically a house was split in half.
Yeah.
This is this is that era of good model destruction.
Right.
But yeah.
I know. I was definitely, I don't know if it's because we already went through two of these already, that I was sort of bracing for the worst, but I think I was more entertained than I thought I would be. Maybe I'm just kind of getting used to this weird Daimajin formula.
Yeah.
We just got to sit through and wait for the payoff. I don't know if I was just prepared for that. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you.
I mean, usually this felt more like a Gamera movie than the normal Daimajin movies, because in the other ones you have a daughter with the father and the father's sick, or you have it's kind of a basic two different sides who are fighting, and Daimajin's in the middle,
right,
and just takes them both out. This one wasn't really centered around war. I guess it was kind of more like slavery, but the fact that it just kind of focused on something different Even though the kids, it's kids and stuff. They weren't as bad as some of the Gamera movies we've seen, but I did like that how their story was handled. You don't really see a lot of kids dying in movies.
Right.
And this one, even though some of them come back to life, it's really interesting.
Yeah, and
to see them in peril.
Like the self-sacrifice of the kid.
Yeah.
It was like, there's some,
Yeah. They're not pulling punches.
Yeah. It
but
just didn't quite get the kids to handle that level of gravitas.
Right. But there was something I found charming about that. It was like you could tell the like sort of weird low budgetness of like some of the stuff where when they're walking around in the snow, it's clearly like stuff sprinkled on like sheets of cotton or sheets of fabric, because like while they walk through the snow, everything moves, not just where they step.
Right.
I like the sets. I like the tree set. I like the dream sequence. It was really bizarre. It really didn't add anything to anything. But I thought it was weird and interesting.
Yeah.
That kid had PTSD from his friend drowning, which I guess would make sense, but at the same time, I don't know why we need to see that. But I mean, overall, this was the most entertaining to me as far as Daimajin movies go. But I think I like the model work and the stuff in Daimajin won the most. Like the stabbing the dude with the head spike was great.
Yeah.
Because we got to see them hammer that spike into his head and you saw the head bleed and stuff. And then the second one where that guy kind of like was climbing up the flaming boat and sort of crucified himself was kind of interesting. Because he had tried to crucified that girl's dad at the beginning. So it was kind of cool mirroring. But this time he just grabs that dude, the bad guy, and just stabs him with the sword. Which was great. Because I'm like, he got the sword, and as soon as he took it out, I'm like, oh, what is he? Is he going to start like just like chopping down houses? Yeah. I didn't know what he's going to do, but I was like, oh, they probably couldn't figure out how to do that. He wasn't going to pick up a puppet person and like cut off their head, but the stabbing was kind of cool. It was, I felt I could have used more of it.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, if you're going to have that sword hanging there, you better use it.
They did like the really red, like basically the blood that looks like paint.
Yeah.
They went very red.
Right. It's like stylized.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. I was okay with it. I think maybe because I watched Rego the night before.
Yes.
I really was kind of like, it was kind of cumbersome in a different way where you got a lot of Rego, but it was a lot of repetition. I think with this one, it was like, I already know that I just need to chill out and I'm not going to see Daimajin until 10 minutes before this thing is over. And when he showed up 22 minutes before it was over, I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. Cool. So yeah, I was totally fine with it. It's not going to be top 5. I mean, but it's going to be top 3 of Daimajin movies for sure. Somewhere.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like was Daimajin, is the first Daimajin the one where like he had the chains on his arms and he pulled them?
I think so. It might have been the second one. That's the thing I liked about this one taking place in the snow.
You definitely know which one it is.
Yeah, I know which one it is. Because the first one, he came out of the water with that sort of like the party of the Red Sea thing. But then he just ended up in the village.
The first one.
It might have been where they
but
put chains around him and started.
I don't think I can tell you any detail from the second one now.
The second one was the one where he was inside the cave on the island, and they took the boats into the islands.
Right.
And he was sitting there.
Right.
And he got separated, like they blew him up, and then like that one piece of him came out of the water and stabbed that guy. And we thought that all the different pieces of Daimajin were going to go kill a bunch of people, but he just kind of formed back together. Did he turn into water at the end, I think? I don't know why I would remember this stuff. But that's the one where the dude is on the boat, because that one's kind of the water. That's kind of the water movie. It's like a
Yeah,
and
that's the one with the three different kingdoms or
right,
whatever.
and the islands in the
Yeah.
middle, and they're kind of
Yeah,
fighting
and
over
they
the
have like
island.
some festival
Yeah.
where they all kind of come together. Yeah.
Once again, I feel like if you sat someone down and just said, "Hey, watch this samurai movie," they'd be like,
Oh.
"Oh shit, there's a thing at the end. What?"
Yeah.
But if you say, "Hey, watch this movie with
But
this thing in
then,
it," but
yeah,
I don't know if the
but
samurai's
would you be
interesting
like,
enough.
hey, watch this movie about these four kids?
Right. And
Would
then
you do that?
it kind of spoils it when you have Daimajin at the beginning. But I wouldn't do that. I would say, hey, this movie, you gotta watch this Japanese movie that Goonies was based on. Maybe that would work. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's part. Listen. It's like for me, it was just like as far as the Daimajin movies go, it's just like the hopes were high, where it's like going, oh, it's
Right.
like a humanoid
Kaiju.
kaiju,
Yeah.
cool. And when we, like, I remember when we first started watching that first one, and I was like, oh, cool, it's a period piece. And
Yeah.
everyone had those wigs with like the bald spot on the top, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Kind of gives it like its own thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, when's this monster gonna show up?
I know. It was like 10 minutes left. It was like literally exactly
It's
at
a
the 10
lot of
minute.
movie to get through.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure
Because he's the name of the movie.
Right. Right. And there's probably supercuts online on like YouTube
Best
of
of.
just all the back-to-back just Daimajin footage. And that would be about 40 minutes long. Somewhere around there. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Just watch that. I still like the character design. I still think when he wakes up, he's a badass. It would be cool to see him go up against someone like King Caesar. I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
Man, how great would it be if they did a remake, and not even use CG, but just use like advanced model
guy.
work. Yeah. But then put him in more. I don't know. I'm glad we closed it out, and I feel like I was fine with this last one, so it wasn't more like, oh, thank God we're finally done with that.
No.
Yeah.
By then, we've kind of been, yeah. I feel like we're like, okay, we know what we're getting into
Right.
now with the
Right.
Daimajin. So it's like, all right. So now that we know, the movies can grow on us a little more.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the Mothra rebirth. It's like going, all right, I know what we're getting into.
Oh my gosh!
So
I forgot
you
we
kind
still
of
have
prep
one more of
for it.
those.
Yeah, we do.
I feel like the Mothra rebirths have more fresh in my mind. I think we got a couple months before we watch those, or watch that last one. And I hear the last one's the best of the three, but I mean, what does that really
Cool.
mean? Yeah, which is the best of these three paper cuts? All right, let's talk about next episode. Now, this is going to be, I think this is where things are really going to be kicking into high gear. I'm really excited about this. Boy, oh boy, hold on. Let me make sure I get these titles right. It's because it's going to be a double header. Our next episode is a double header. We will be watching Godzilla Raids Again and Gigantus the Fire Monster. This is the sequel to Gojira. This is the second Godzilla movie. The only Godzilla movie other than the original that's black and white. I want to say it's the first appearance of Angulus. And we're watching both of them. So the Americanized version and the Japanese version, Godzilla Raids Again and Gigantus the Fire Monster. Very excited about this. I haven't seen these in a long time, and it's going to be fun to see the differences, because we did this with Godzilla 2000 or 1985 and Godzilla King of the Monsters. You just sent me a picture of a Daimajin statue or toy.
Toy, it's posable.
Oh, he's holding up the dude. He's got a chain wrapped around his neck. He has the sword. Is this from this one or is this from another? No, because this doesn't have the snow on it. Or does it? No, that doesn't have. No, it doesn't.
I think it's. I don't think it's necessarily a specific. Specific to. I don't know. I guess we had to figure out who that guy is that he's holding.
Right.
Which bad samurai is this one?
Maybe part 1. See how the sword is on the toy though? Yeah. On this one, it was hanging down, so it was. I think it was just more pronounced.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking, like, looking at. I feel like maybe now we may be wrong, and we just missed the fact that he pulls the sword out. But the way the sword stood out when we saw it this time, and we both noted it, I feel like we are just gotten used to there being no sword action in the previous movies, because there's something about the sword in this one that seemed more prominent, and I'm wondering if like the sword in the other ones was just so part of the costume that it just was a costume piece.
I don't know.
Because he just kind of like hits people with his oven mitt hands.
Right. Which, you know what? Like, I'm totally fine with too. Like, he doesn't have any sort of attack powers. He can like turn into a black smoke monster. He could turn into water. He could turn into light. He could sort of like teleport, I guess. But he doesn't have any like powers like fire breath or sonic punching or anything like that.
Right.
So I don't know. Like I'm fine with his sword's in the other one. Why wouldn't we be so excited about him using that sword? Why now? Are we like, we want him to use that sword? I don't know.
Or maybe it's like now. Now he'll.
Yeah. But I'm glad he did. Because I would have been mad. It's right there. You have it. Use it.
Oh, that's the guy from the first Daimajin movie.
So Daimajin 1 is the one with the chains.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Okay.
Yeah. And it's a removable sword, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe we're wrong. How long did we watch that first Daimajin?
I don't think he's ever used it.
I don't think he's ever chopped anybody.
Yeah. I don't know. But I don't know what we're planning for our final episode as far as like doing a couple of, thinking of doing a couple of top lists, like top 5 lists and stuff. Like,
I think we kind of just talked about, the whole journey in general and like what,
But I want to like say, like, even right now, like the design of Daimajin is one of my favorites. I really like him.
I think definitely talking about like as far as like character design, costume wish list, things like that.
Yeah, favorite white goo.
Right. I don't know how I would pick a favorite white goo.
I think mine is the one from, what was it, the monster that challenges the world, where he like rubs it into that dude's chest.
I was thinking that's the only one I can think of right now.
Or the Gareth Edwards Godzilla that's on the they wipe it off the thing and it's like a nuclear bomb, and they're like they go into the Mutos, like drip it down on their heads and stuff. Yeah, that's a good one. There's a lot of it. But yeah, as far as like, but Daimajin, the character, like I would want that as a toy. Like, I think that just looks cool on its own. And even though I don't like the movies,
that one that was like the chibi style. That was like all those ones are like short and stocky with big head versions. There's a Daimajin of that's also really cool looking.
Right. Yeah, it's just a cool design. So yeah, I mean, it's a bummer. I'm not gonna say it's a bummer. I'm glad we're over with it, but I kind of wish that there was that one Daimajin movie that was just like, okay, here we go. Now we're talking. But
there's a series too.
Oh yeah.
There is a follow-up, something called like Daimajin Canon or something like that.
Does he show up in the last 45 seconds? Is it like, is this screen time like
I don't
relative to the
know.
movies. I don't know. All right. Yes. So I'm looking forward to the next episode a lot. It's probably going to be longer than normal because we're talking about the two movies and it's Godzilla. It's been a while since we talked about Godzilla.
This one's black and white still, right?
Yeah.
This like
there's only two.
oh.
It was I think Gojira came out, then this movie, and then I think King Kong versus Godzilla was the third one, or Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. It's one of those two, but they were both in color. So yeah, it's black and white. I've seen these both just like once, and I'm pretty sure it's Anguirus or Anguirus.
Right, it should be.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is
because we haven't seen him as the bad guy yet, and we've only seen them be friends.
Right.
And so, usually
this is their
it's
meet
like,
cute.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So they're friends because they've had the longest relationship.
Right. And they can talk to each other.
Oh my gosh. There's one of these deformed real Godzillas. One of those little ones with like the big heads and they're super detailed.
Yeah.
And but it's from Godzilla Raids Again. It is awesome. I'll send that to you. So, okay. Godzilla Raids Again and Gigantus the Fire Monster. Hopefully both of those will be up on kaijupot.com. You could also go there for Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And yeah, that's all for Daimajin. Until next time, no more Daimajin.
Oh, I got one.
Oh, you got one?
I'm gonna flip the sandal off my foot to tell the future.
Oh, hey, when they dumped that guy into when the bad guy got dumped into the sulfur pool.
Yeah.
What were the two things that popped up? Was this like his shin guards? I couldn't tell what they were. But what would be able to float on the sulfur that didn't disintegrate?
It wasn't like those two toy model things that the guy it was like one of the good guys. He had those two, like he was like making those little figures that he was carving out of wood.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't those, was it?
I don't know. I couldn't see what it was. But
I don't remember.
Yeah. Anyway, that's over with. No more Daimajin.
Yeah, lots of throwing people into that pool.
Yeah. I thought something was going to happen to the good guy that got dropped in. Like, cause he got that wound. I'm like, oh, is Daimajin part of this sulfur pool? Is he going to get the spirit of Daimajin or something? No, he just died.
Interesting.
All right.